It's about 2 minutes after, so I guess we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Keystone Precision Instruments webinar series. Today we will be talking about Trimble Catalyst. My name is Ken Frunheiser. I will be the moderator for today's webinar. The intention for the webinar is essentially to explain some different topics of the topic, which today is Catalyst. Be a general overview. If you have more questions about the specific product that we will be discussing, please feel free to reach out to us at sales@keypre.com, and we will obviously be able to reach out to you. A few housekeeping things. If you're not a presenter today, please mute yourself just so that there's no background noise from anybody if you have the ability to do so. So without any further ado, we'll get started. Rob Fritz, KPI's sales manager out of the Pennsylvania office, will be presenting. Along with Rob today, we have Chip Berniard from Trimble Technical Sales, so they will be able to answer any questions during the presentation. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them in your chat box, and I will be logging them. If I get a couple of the same questions in the topic area, I will stop the presentation and we'll address. Otherwise, we'll hold the questions till the end. Just a quick few notes about Keystone Precision Instruments. We are headquartered in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We were founded in 1989, and we handle a wide array of construction, surveying, equipment sales, rentals, and repairs. And we do span the entire Northeast, over 14 states that we cover for Trimble, Spectra, and other suppliers. Our philosophy really is to provide measurement solutions that increase customers' productivity and profitability. We look to be partners with our customers so that we can help them achieve their goals of being measurement professionals. We handle a wide array of equipment, from laser levels and mechanical transits on the construction side to surveying geospatial items, as well as GPS, UAS systems, and scanners, both of the terrestrial and mobile solutions. This here is just a list of some of our partners. Obviously, Trimble is one of our deepest partners that we partner with, but we also work with Spectra and Sokia, as well as Schonstadt and many others. So with that said, I am going to pass this over to Rob, and he can start the presentation. Let me make him the presenter. I can see your Rob screen.
Can you hear me now?
With that, I can hear you. It's all yours. How about?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for signing on. We're going to be talking about Trimble Catalyst today, one of the newest solutions that Trimble has to offer. And just a quick checklist of what we'll be covering today. What is Catalyst? Why they're doing it now? Who is it for? What do you need to run Catalyst? And how does it differ from some of the existing GNSS solutions? How it all fits together, and different software platforms that can be used. So with that, we'll get into what is the Catalyst solution. So basically, the Catalyst solution is a few things, starting with the hardware. The hardware is an antenna. It's called the Da1 antenna, and that is used with an existing smartphone or tablet. Trimble is kind of jumping on to the idea of everyone has their has a phone, has a computer right in their pocket. So why not use that to your advantage and get some more precision using a Catalyst solution. So basically, why now? We have, way back in the dark ages, we all seen the survey set up, or you set up a base station and you have a rover and a lot of equipment. So fast forward to present day, we have the luxury of some VRS solutions and some other satellite-based corrections to be able to collect accurate data out in the field. And what was missing was something for the non-surveyor. So to keeping those people in mind, the folks that don't need a high accuracy solution all day, every day. So a somewhat scalable solution, ranging, if you can imagine, landscapers, farmers, a lot of utility work. So a lot of folks we're seeing that, some of the more professional grade GPSs were out of their reach. So Trimble, seeing that, is basically coming up with a solution where it's accessible to everyone. And by using your phone, the phones are becoming more powerful and able to process a lot more data. And that's kind of a big part of the Cataylst solution is the smartphone or tablet. So basically the Da1 antenna, the hardware that would be purchased, is it's very light, compact, easy to store away and to break out at any time. So basically perfect for maybe a fleet of folks that would need accuracy to hook up with their phone. It's very cost effective, and you can it's a subscription. Basically what you're subscribing to is the correction service, and you can subscribe to different levels of accuracy, and it is scalable. So if you feel that maybe you have a project coming up that would require a higher accuracy, say a sub-foot, then you can basically bump up your subscription to that accuracy level, and pay for that only, and then scale it back down as you need it. So components of the Cataylst. So like I mentioned, you have a small lightweight antenna, the Da1. That would be a purchase item, and then the subscription service itself. You would subscribe to that and manage that as you need it, and then you would need a third-party app, a data collection software, whether it be a third-party, custom-made app, or maybe a Trimble app. Trimble certainly has some solutions to fit into the data collection software. So you can see here, again, with the antenna, very lightweight, cost-effective enough to outfit a fleet of workers and be able to pull out at any time. So the correction service for Cataylst basically is a few different levels. It utilizes a satellite-based RTX, the Trimble RTX solution. So that is a satellite-based, much like like a WA signal, and also a VRS. So as you all may know, Keystone has their sister company, Keynet GPS. So that's also able to be utilized, and we'll kind of get into that in the next couple slides here. So basically, like I said, you purchase the Da1 antenna. It's a $350 antenna, so very low cost, effective, compact. Take it anywhere and break it out as you need it. So now we're getting into some of the correction service subscription, what it entails. Basically, RTX is going to be kind of reserved for your sub-meter and meter accuracy levels. So that's going to use a satellite-based RTX, the Trimble RTX technology, and get the corrections over a satellite. And the more higher accuracy, you'd be looking into a VRS network. So looking further into what the coverage looks like for the meter and sub-meter, we're looking at, you can see the blue here on the screen. You can see it's pretty well covered worldwide. So that's going to be your meter, sub-meter solution and correction service. Whereas you get into the higher accuracy, the decimeter and and the more higher accurate precision, you'll see on the left here, Trimble's VRS now network coverage isn't as great. So in the blue areas is where you would have coverage, and the white areas is where the VRS now does not have coverage, and you'd be relying on a third-party VRS such as KeyNet GPS. So what we're looking at so far, is a subscription service to Cataylst, and if you would need that higher accuracy, decimeter precision, you would need another subscription, whether you have a subscriber's license for KeyNet or some other third-party VRS network. So comparison, how does Cataylst differ from some of the existing Trimble mapping solutions? So the Cataylst is a subscription based. Obviously, in the R1 and R2 is kind of receiver based. So what happens with the Cataylst, like we mentioned in the beginning of the webinar there, the Cataylst is the hardware is just the antenna, where it's relying on your smartphone to process the GPS data and the correction. Whereas the R1 and R2 is a more traditional GNSS solution, where the receiver does a lot of the processing and pushes the information to the data logger and software. So again, the receiver and the Cataylst is a cabled solution, whereas the R1 would be a Bluetooth connection. So who's going to need the Cataylst and who would need a more traditional? So kind of a question you need to ask yourself. And this graph here kind of explains like who would need the Cataylst opposed to a more traditional professional grade GPS. The guy on the left, he wants to use a smartphone, and he doesn't want to pay up front for a high-end receiver. Whereas on the right, the R1 and R2, more of a professional workflow, and would probably benefit from a more professional solution such as the R1 and R2. Purchase the receiver up front and maybe subscribe to a VRS network such as KeyNet. So different experience levels. This is a pretty good graph that kind of shows you the different levels of customers that would be using Cataylst as opposed to the Trimble R1. And we notice here on the left-hand column, it's kind of an entry-based solution, and it's Android only, and can run the Trimble cloud-based apps or third-party. Whereas the R1, R2 is compatible with the Apple, the iOS system, and able to connect to that. Whereas the Cataylst is a cabled antenna, and it has a USB that's specific to the Android. So for now, I believe it's an Android based only, and I do know that Trimble is looking into having it compatible with the Apple iOS, but we all know kind of getting something to plug into the Apple platform takes a lot of hoops to jump through Apple. So I believe they're working on that. So here's a look at some pricing as far as the subscription. So you're looking at the 1 meter solution. You're looking at $40 a month, and $120 for the sub meter, and then you get up in the decimeter, you're looking at 200, and the precision is about $350 a month. So again, it's scalable, whether you need it month to month, maybe you need to bump it up to the decimeter. You have a project specific to a foot accuracy, so it is scalable in that regard.
Rob,
yeah.
This is Ken. I've had a couple questions come in concerning the subscription service with the VRS. So if, let's use Allentown, Pennsylvania as an example, it is currently not in the decimeter or the survey grade, if you will, precision at the
Right.
$350 a month. So what would that look like, because that correction service through Trimble is not available? What would the process be? What would it look like?
So it's the same. You would still need the Catalyst subscription to run the Da1 antenna, and you would also need a subscription to, say, KeyNet GPS to get that higher accuracy precision in the areas that's not covered by the Trimble network. So yeah, you'd be looking at 2 subscriptions, one for the Catalyst and then one for GPS, for KeyNet GPS.
Okay. And how is there some sort of app or something on your device that would allow you to log into KeyNet as well as get to have it understand that? So in other words, you would log into
Right.
Catalyst, and then you would get your subscription through an IP address or something through KeyNet or NiceNet or whatever other subscription service is available.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, there's an app that runs along with Trimble Catalyst that we're going to get into in a couple of slides here, and that's basically your configuration, where you would choose your N-trip and log in your username and password and your IP address and all that good stuff.
Okay. So yes, so you would need a KeyNet subscription. If you want the precise precision, you would need a KeyNet survey grade subscription rather,
Right.
as well as the Catalyst.
Yeah, so meter, sub-meter, you wouldn't need, that's like a satellite base, so you would not need a KeyNet subscription. But once you want to get into that, sub-foot precision accuracy level, this is where you would need a KeyNet subscription in our area.
Very good.
And then along with the Da1 antenna, it's a $350 antenna, so if you had a project that you could easily get Da1 for $350 and $40 a month, get up and running for a month for under $500.
Will that Catalyst, and maybe you're going to get into this, but will that Catalyst antenna fit on top of a standard rover GPS pole, or is there a special pole that would attach?
It does have a standard 5/8 11 course threading, so it will go on top of a range pole, and I believe there are other adapters where you can mount it on different size poles, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a survey pole. It could be pretty much anything. I haven't seen those adapters yet, but I do know some of them are out there.
Okay. Actually, one last question, and I'll let you move on.
Okay.
If someone owns their own base station, could they use a Da1 as the base station? So this is not a radio communication. This is getting your corrections through the internet only. But if someone housed their own base station and they could log in via the internet and get corrections, is that something they could do?
I don't see why not. If they'd have the IP address and the port. I haven't tried a single base yet, but I don't see why not. If you have an IP address and a port, and you have credentials to get in, I think that would be a way to get the correction. Sure.
Okay. Great.
All right. Is that all questions you have built up for now, or just keep moving?
Yeah. Keep going, and I'll stop you again.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, like I said, it's a cabled connection from the Da1 to your smartphone, so it does need power. So the Da1 is going to draw power from your phone, and as you know, if you're using your phone a lot for different functions, your battery is going to go rather quickly. So the Da1 comes with an external battery source, which is again plugged into the Da1, and comes with a mount that is mounted on a standard size rover pole or survey pole. So extended battery comes with the Da1 hardware. Getting into the how it connects, basically you bring your own device and you download an app. It's called Trimble Mobile Manager, and that's the engine that basically runs the Catalyst information coming in Now, like we said, you bring your own device. There's a lot of information going on in the phone itself, processing a lot of information. If you think about it, we have the Catalyst coming in. It's going to be running a third-party app or a Trimble app. And if we have KeyNet coming in, there's going to be a other form of information coming in, the correction service. So it's handling a lot, and there are some requirements of the phone that really need to be taken into consideration. A phone probably 2 or 3 years old may not have the processing power to handle the information coming in. So if you are looking into this solution, look at the specs on your existing phone or tablet, or consider getting an up-to-date phone or tablet for this particular project. This is a list of some of the phones that Trimble has looked at and has had found out that they are compatible. And this is even kind of an older list there, it looks like. So some of you may or may not have these phones already, and just some of the phones that are not compatible. So definitely something to take a look at, the processing power of your phone, whether it can handle the information coming in. So we have our Trimble Catalyst service, plus our mobile manager, which is the app that you would get in, configure your Da1 antenna and your subscription service and your correction service coming in. That paired with your workflow app will get you up and running. Like I said before, Trimble has a couple of applications, or cloud-based applications, that are used with the Catalyst, and also there are some third-party software options that can be used as well. One mainly is the ESRI Art Collector. Now, for the GIS folks, a lot of folks are running like a cloud-based ARC GIS platform, which is cloud-based. So with that, they have access to download an app called ESRI Art Collector, and that's their basically allows them to work right into their maps, and that goes kind of real time right into their base maps. Trimble also offers Teraflex, which is also a cloud-based app, and PenMap. Teraflex, again, is a cloud-based. You're able to, you get an online username and password that gets you into the user interface, and the user interface, it'll allow you to create jobs and tasks for your sales team, for your field teams, and also create different forms, different tasks, attribute fields, feature coding. So you create your job for your field worker in the office, and then that's where you would configure your real-time correction and your projections, and then you would basically sync it to your field worker, and they would get it on their phone real time. So they'd get it, so there's no need for them to basically come back into the office, load up a job. You can push it to them real time, and vice versa. Once the field worker is completed their tasks, their jobs, and filled out their information, then they can then sync it back to the office, and then project manager, whoever's managing files back in the office, is able to retrieve that completed job and enter it into their GIS. PenMap, I believe, is kind of an older platform that has been resurrected. Basically, it's Android-based data collection software. Again, it's a cloud-based. You would get a user interface in the office, create your jobs, and establish your projections in the field. In the office, and then push them to a field worker. And I don't have much experience with the PenMap, but from what I understand, it has a lot of light survey functions. Maybe I can turn to Chip. Chip, do you have any experience with much experience with the PenMap platform?
No, I've worked with just seeing a demonstration of it, but other than that, I haven't had a lot of experience.
Okay. Yeah, but from what I understand, it has some light survey capabilities meant for some high accuracy GIS solutions. So, and they're basically in the App Store. The PenMap is a subscription service. It's fairly inexpensive. I believe it's around $50 a month. So that paired with the Catalyst could basically get you up and running and get you some high accuracy GIS data. Teraflex can run on Android and also Windows Mobile. So that is certainly a solution. It can work on the older Windows Mobile platform as well as Android to be able to look at Catalyst, and the R1 and R2. And like I said before, the R1 and R2 are iOS compatible. That would be a Bluetooth connection. And basically, to kind of wrap things up here, if you need to look into more information, feel free to contact us at sales@keypre.com, and there are plenty of YouTube videos to look at Trimble Catalyst and Trimble Teraflex if you want to look further into that.
Great, Rob here. I have a couple questions I've kind of been backing up here if you go over those. So the first question is, and it was kind of one of your first slides, but it's probably good to go back and talk about it for a second. So what is the difference between the R series, and I'm assuming the what is meant is the R1 and the R2, but it probably could even include the R10. And what is the difference between the Trimble Catalyst and the R series? So the difference between durability, intended uses, things of that nature.
Right. So yeah, the Catalyst, basically the hardware is the antenna and your smartphone. So the antenna is kind of lightweight. It needs to be cabled up. It doesn't have a battery of its own, and needs your smartphone, needs a beefy smartphone to be able to process the data and get it into a data collection software. So a lot of the GPS magic, or almost all of the GPS magic, happens in the phone, whereas the R1, R2 is more of a professional, a more rugged grade. They have their own battery. The R1 can be charged, charged. The battery's internal. The R2 has a battery port which you can slide out and replace the battery as needed. And the R2 is more of a robust solution. So it's the antenna and receiver kind of housed in the same unit, and then basically pushing that information to your application that you're using on your phone. So the way Catalyst handles it is it's just receiving the signals from the antenna and everything's happening in the phone, whereas the R1 and R2, the receiver itself does a lot of the computing and pushes the information to the data collector. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So while we're on the topic of the R1, does the R1 require a separate satellite subscription service to get to the sub-meter accuracy? And so what are those options? I know you have you can get the R1 with or without RTX.
Right.
You can get SBAS. So what are some of the options there, and what are some of the uses in the field for that?
Right. Yeah. So that's, again, is a lightweight receiver. In the box, it comes with like a belt pouch. So some folks, use it on their belt. Or some folks will, walk right up to, fire hydrant, set it right on the fire hydrant to log that position directly over the point. So the R1, has a couple of different correction options there. It is SBAS capable, which is the WAS signal. So that's a form of satellite-based correction. That'll get you, around that meter mark, as will the Trimble RTX, so you can subscribe to that separately. So that's another Trimble-based satellite correction that you can subscribe to. or you can, if you have an existing KeyNet account, you can log in KeyNet and configure it that way. So the R1 and R2 kind of are handled a little bit differently on the phones. Instead of the Trimble Mobile Manager, there's a separate app for the R1 and R2. It's called GNSS Status. And that's a free app that you download from Trimble, and that's your kind of configuration station. You would establish a Bluetooth connection with the R1 and R2 with your phone or tablet, and then basically go into the GNSS Status app and tell it to look at the external receiver and basically bypass the internal receiver of your phone or tablet for the higher accuracy of the Trimble unit. So both use software to configure. The Catalyst uses the Trimble Mobile Manager, and the R1, R2 use an app called GNSS Status.
Perfect. Can you log static data and post-process with RTX using a Catalyst receiver?
No, it's going to be real-time only, but the R1 and R2 are compatible with TerraSync Pathfinder Office, and you can post-process.
Okay. And I think the last question that I have here, at least currently, oh, that's not true. But to talk a little bit about the different apps again that Trimble offers, as well as ESRI, and what are some of the preliminary or rough costs of, say, Trimble Catalyst? Is that a one-time license fee? Is that a subscription base that you pay monthly? How does yearly? How does that work?
Yeah. So again, the Trimble Catalyst, you pay for your subscription as needed. Sub-meter is going to be $40 a month. And on up, and that's scalable. From month to month. You can basically you get access to your virtual warehouse, and you can go in and configure depending on your upcoming jobs. You can bump it up or bump it down as needed, or turn it off if you're not using it during the winter months. Say Trimble Teraflex is a yearly subscription, and that's $4.95 a month. $4.95 a year, rather. Sorry about that. And that would get you, a username and password. Like I said, you have a user interface at the office. That's where you create your jobs, your forms, your tasks, your feature codes, and configure your real-time and your projections, and then push that to your field worker, and they receive it on their phone. It's a cloud-based solution, so they can sync it back up and back into the office. So it's kind of a neat workflow there.
So is Trimble Catalyst, is there different levels of Trimble Catalyst, or is it just, is there like a basic and an advanced, or is it just one standard subscription?
This slide here, you pay for the antenna, and then it's monthly. You sign up per month. If you just want 1 month, just use the 1 month.
What about the Teraflex option for the software?
Oh,
is that a yearly subscription?
Yes,
and are there multiple? Yes, are there multiple levels, or is it?
That's a yearly subscription, $4.95 a year, and you would need one for each field worker.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Okay, I believe we've answered all the questions. Let me flip back through here. Yeah, I believe that covers it. If you have any questions, or if we potentially missed a question, please feel free to reach out to us at sales@keypre.com, and we'll be able to answer any questions you may have. In addition, this webinar series will continue next month, so it will be March 27th at 9 a.m., and we'll be discussing the Trimble SX10, both field and office workflows, as well as talk about some deliverables. So please feel to reach out to us at then. So I appreciate everybody's time for setting aside a little bit of time. If you have any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.